Have you ever wondered why the topic of sex still causes such a flurry of emotions in society? Despite the access to information and the sexual revolution, we still live in a world where cultural taboos exist. Talking about sexuality is often met with shame, judgment, or even anger. But here's the truth. Taboos are created by people, and only people can break them. Today, we are witnessing these centuries-old barriers begin to crack at the seams. Why is this happening? And what does Stoicism have to say about fighting against social constraints? Get ready for a conversation that may change the way you look at modern society. How did taboos around sex come about? Throughout history, sexuality has been controlled by religious, cultural, and political norms. Why? Because sex is a powerful force that brings people together, gives pleasure, and undermines control. The church dictated that sex was only permissible for procreation, and any pleasure was considered a sin. Women were persecuted for the slightest manifestation of their sexuality, and men were forced to accept the idea that a true masculine image is restraint and the absence of weakness. They are so deeply embedded in the culture that we are still facing their consequences. What has changed? The sexual revolution and its consequence in the 60s of the last century. The world saw a sexual revolution. Contraceptives became available. The feminist movement grew stronger, and young people began to openly declare their right to pleasure. It was a real blow to cultural taboos. People started talking openly about sex, experimenting, and looking for their own path to sexual freedom. However, the changes were only partial. Despite the new openness, deep-rooted prejudices remained. In many societies, women are still judged for expressing sexuality, and men are forced to hide their emotions and true desires. Modern society, from breaking taboos to new challenges, today we live in a world where sexual freedom has become almost mainstream. Explicit topics can be seen in TV shows, advertisements, and social media. But this does not mean that all taboos have disappeared. Now new questions arise. Isn't sexual freedom turning into a new form of pressure? Are we ready to accept those who choose traditional values? How can we maintain a balance between personal freedom and respect for the choices of others? Stoicism provides an important answer here. Control what is within your control and accept what you cannot change. This means that everyone has the right to live according to their beliefs without imposing them on others. Stoicism and the fight against shame. One of the main obstacles to breaking taboos is shame. Many people are afraid to talk about their sexual desires or experiments for fear of being judged. The Stoics taught that shame is only a reaction to the judgment of others, and the true wisdom is not to depend on these judgments. Should you keep silent about something that brings you joy just because someone has decided to label it immoral? Stoicism says no. Being yourself is a sign of strength, not weakness. How does society break down taboos today? Education. Sexual literacy is becoming part of school curricula in many countries. Children are taught to respect themselves and their bodies. Media, frank films, books, and podcasts help people get rid of prejudices. Social media. Young people create content that speaks frankly about sexuality, breaking down stereotypes. Feminism and the LGBTQ movement. These communities are actively advocating for sexual freedom and the right to be yourself. Is there a danger in the complete destruction of taboos? Some sociologists warn that the complete destruction of all taboos can lead to the loss of boundaries. For example, ethical and privacy issues arise when people share intimate details online too openly. Stoicism offers a golden rule. Wisdom is finding a balance. Sexual freedom should be responsible and respect everyone's personal boundaries. How to live in a world without taboos. Accept yourself as you are without judgment. Give others the freedom to choose, and do not judge them for their different views. Talk openly about your needs, but respect your partner's boundaries. Continuously learn and expand your knowledge about sexuality. Conclusion: freedom without responsibility is chaos. The world is changing, and cultural taboos are gradually breaking down. But true freedom is not just the destruction of old restrictions, but the building of a new world where everyone has the right to be themselves and at the same time respect the choices of others. Stoicism teaches us to control ourselves and seek harmony in everything, and sexuality is no exception. Openness, acceptance, and wisdom are the path to harmony in a world where taboos are becoming history.